Early morning fire caused by leakages in the gas pipeline in the Malaysia state-owned Petronas Energy Company have burnt over 50 houses, with 100 persons sustaining injuries when a massive column of thick balls fire blazed through some parts of Putra Heights, a town near Kuala Lumpur, the capital city of Malaysia. The Malaysia Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim, announced temporary cash compensation to the gas fire victims. Smoke with burning flames could be seen in the videos made available by the local residents rising from houses while the rescue team battled the fire from morning till Tuesday afternoon. It was gathered that the fire was completely extinguished at 3:45 p.m., according to Malaysia local time as stated by Selangor Menteri Besar, Amiruddin Syari. The blaze was reportedly caused by a leak in the gas pipeline operated by Petronas. The massive fire, we learned, forced people from their homes and injured more than 100 during Eid celebrations near Malaysia's capital. The fire started in the morning in the town of Puchong in Selangor State on the outskirts of the capital Kuala Lumpur, according to local media. The inferno, which was visible kilometers away, was caused by a gas pipeline leak stretching approximately 500 meters, said fire officials in Selangor State. The valve to the affected pipeline, which belongs to Malaysia's state-run oil firm Petronas, has been shut off, the fire officials said in a statement. While the early morning blaze was coming under control in the afternoon, more than 100 people were injured, the fire department stated as reported by AFP. About 60 of the injured were hospitalized. Selangor Deputy Police Chief Muhammad Zaini Abu Hassan was quoted as saying by local broadcaster Astro Awani. No deaths were reported, but about 50 houses were affected by the blaze, the fire department said. The victims of this morning's pipeline fire will receive 2,500 ringgit Malaysia each, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said. Anwar also said the owners of the houses that were damaged by the fire will receive 5,000 ringgit Malaysia. The federal and state governments as well as Petronas will see to the repairs of the damaged homes, the PM said, according to local media. Anwar posted on his Facebook social media account a few minutes ago and stated thus: "While surveying the location of the tragic fire in Putra Heights this afternoon, I announced immediate cash assistance to the victims of the incident. 1. 5,000 ringgit Malaysia for a house that was completely destroyed by fire. 2. 2,500 ringgit Malaysia for partially affected residential. Inshallah it will be broadcasted as soon as possible. Long-term assistance, including rehabilitation of residential areas and welfare of victims in temporary evacuation centers, PPS, are being discussed between the federal government, state government and Petronas. Praying for all the offices in Putra Heights to be eased. I also request the state government and the agencies involved to provide adequate assistance to the displaced victims," said Anwar. 2 residential areas in Putra Heights have been declared as restricted zones. Meanwhile, Malaysian hypermarket chain Maidan Mohammed, Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebholo on Monday visited Kano State to sympathize with the people of the state over the last Thursday killing of travelers at Aromi town in the Essen northeast local government area of Edo State, when some youths in the Edo community that have been experiencing incessant killings and abductions of the villagers by suspected herders stopped a moving Dangote cement truck and found the travelers to be in possession of 19 locally fabricated guns, which some members of the public claimed the travelers were hunters traveling from Port Harcourt in Rivers State to Kano with the guns alleged to be licensed. This, the Nigeria police boss, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetoken, apparently dismissed the allegations that the Dane guns were licensed, and probably described the victims to be in possession of illegal firearms, and thus, warned and directed anyone in possession of illegal firearms to surrender such to the nearest police station, and directed the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department FCID, Dig Sadiq Abubakar, to take over the case, with reports indicating that the 14 suspects arrested in connection to the mobbing and burning to death of the travelers, said to be 16 in numbers, may have been transferred to Abuja for police investigation. A video made available on Saturday indicated that the victims were buried at a cemetery in Aromi, with a background voice in the video saying the death toll rose to 19, suggesting some of the victims that were rushed to the hospital could not survive the attack. While the Edo State governor visited Kano State, the governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, and the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA in the state urged the government of Edo State to pay compensation to the families of the travelers mobbed and burned to death. Governor Yusuf, who spoke while hosting his Edo counterpart, Monday Okpebholo, called for the prosecution of the suspects and urged the state government to disclose their identities and compensate the families of the deceased. This is a serious tragedy that must not be overlooked. We expect prompt prosecution of the suspects and adequate compensation to the families affected by this act of brutality, Governor Yusuf stated. The Kano State branch of NBA, in a statement issued by its chairperson, Usman Fari, described the incident as a heinous act that must not go unpunished. The government of Edo State must take full responsibility for this tragic incident. Those involved must be prosecuted for murder, and the government must provide adequate compensation to the families of the victims, said Fari. We appreciate the maturity and patience of Kano residents for not resorting to retaliation or reprisal attacks. Justice must be pursued through legal and appropriate channels, the NBA added. Meanwhile, Governor Okpebholo, while speaking during the visit, condoled the government and people of Kano State and northwest Nigeria over the incident. I'm here to console the people of Kano State and the affected families. We are not happy with what happened. We are saddened by it. Okpebholo said he lived at Gyadi area in Kano State before, and narrated how he enjoyed tremendous support from the northern community during his electioneering. Governor Okpebholo had earlier visited Edo State High Court sitting in Benin City on Wednesday, remanded 2 persons, a bus driver and 1 other person, to prison for murder over the killing of a 2-year-old baby at Ring Road popular area in Benin City when an official of the Edo State Public Safety Response Team, PSRT, allegedly dragged steering wheel with the bus driver, causing the moving vehicle to veer off the road to snatch and smash the baby girl on the pedestrian lane. The Investigative Police Officer, IPO, ASP Regina Obayuwana, testified before the court that the murder was committed when the bus driver dragged the steering wheel with an official of the PSR, but the PSR official was apparently not arraigned with the 2 other murder suspects, even when the police testimony indicated that the PSR official may be the principal suspect in the murder case because there is seemingly no justification for any law enforcement officer to hold or drag the steering wheel of a vehicle even if the driver of the vehicle is a high-profile criminal suspect. According to state-owned media in Nigeria, the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, the Edo State High Court remanded the 2 persons, Ichua and Kingsley Michael, in a correctional center over alleged killing of a 21-month-old child. Ichua, 25, and Michael, 36, whose addresses were not given, are being charged with murder. The prosecutor, Polycap Odion, said that the defendants committed the offense on March 12 in Benin County. Odion said that Ichua and Michael unlawfully killed the child with a vehicle and attempted to kill 2 other persons. He said that the offenses contravene sections 239A, B, 243, and 248 of the Criminal Law of Edo, 2022. The prosecutor urged the court to remand the defendants in a correctional center, pending the advice of the Director of Public Prosecution. Counsel to the defendant, Mr. Paul Badaki, prayed the court to grant his client's bail, arguing that the case was purely an accident, and not murder. Badaki further urged the court to listen to the report of the Investigating Police Officer, IPO, to determine the true nature of the matter. In her report, the IPO, ASP Regina Obayuwana, said that the defendant's vehicle was coming from Agbor Park to Ring Road when a police public safety response team intercepted them. She said that the defendants dragged the vehicle's steering with the police, saying, the vehicle veered off the road in the process and killed the little girl. The presiding judge, Justice Williams Eziagbaven, directed the defense counsel to tender a formal bail application before the court. He said that the facts in the bail application would enable the court to determine whether the case was purely an accident or murder. The judge remanded the defendants in Oko Correctional Center and adjourned the case until April 1, 2025. We had reported that following widely media-reported case of alleged abuse of the Naira, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested and detained Kelly Akumboa aka Ebostone, the coordinator of the Edo State Public Safety Response Team, the government agency that was suspended a few days ago by the state governor, Monday.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.